Bring your hands to your heart. Rub your hands together. Keep rubbing your hands together. Create some heat. Create this friction. Create this heat. Then take the energy of it and place your hands over your eyes. Allow your focus inward and feel the lift of your rib cage. And then try again. Rub your hands together, rub your hands together, rub your hands together. And this time we're going to try this really wonderful pranayama called Brahmari. And it goes like this. I want to take my thumbs and place them in my ears. And I want to take my index fingers and rest them just barely over the eyelids. And then I bring my other fingers to rest just alongside the nose. I am sort of occluding any light. There's not a lot of pressure from the fingers that are resting on the eyelids. The idea is to create a closed container so the vibration of humming then is beneficial to the nervous system. And so we're going to try this with 3 breaths. We don't have to do the 3 breaths together. They can overlap. But what we really want is the energy of everyone's vibrations to benefit the group. And it looks like this. So join me. Place your fingers, turn the palms down, pause and feel. This might remind you of something that you did as a child. What we are taking advantage of is that any vibration has a healing capacity. And when we practice this for ourselves, the vibrational energy of this is really good for the sinus cavities. It is great for the nervous system. When we do it together and overlap our breaths and our humming, it creates an effect for the entire body. A way to be in community and to have a little fun. All right, so send the arms ahead, round in your spine, invite a little bit of cat pose. Lower the arms and come and stack your spine, broaden the collarbones, make your feet a little wider if that's where you need space. Keep the same lacing pattern and come again, round, go from cat. This time, take your hands to your knees, pull through to a little bit of cow, that back bend. And then as you bring yourself back to center, we're going to go in a circular pattern. So your sitting bones stay still or your pelvis stays still. And the idea is to rotate as if you're stirring your upper body and the base of your pelvis is the teacup. And then go the other way. So you're not putting a lot of weight in your hands. That means that these side muscles have to carry you, the load of your upper body. And it's a great addition to our warm up. It's very functional. Include that little bit of leaning back. Let's go the other way again. Include that little bit of leaning back. You get some abdominal work out of it. And then let's do all of that with the other thumb on top. So lace your fingers, switch which thumb is on top, turn the palms down, lengthen the sides of the neck, firm the legs, feel the elongation. Go between cat pose, rounding in your spine, exhaling, and then lower the arms and sit tall. Exhale, go back to that cat pose. Bring your hands to your knees and pull through into cow. Yep. When you're ready for change this time, we are going to bring our hands to give ourselves a hug. And the idea is to cross at the elbows. Okay. So I want to walk my hands around and hold the shoulders and think about if my right elbow is on top, I'm going to turn to the left. If the left elbow is on top, I'm going to turn to the right, press the elbows into each other, and then drop down. So this is rounding the upper rib cage, looking down, and then rotating through to center and coming right back upright, keeping the elbows pressing into each other. The shoulder muscles through the back have some work to do. Remember which elbow is on top. Take the arms wide, press back into this goalpost position. Exhale, bring the other arm above, and keep walking your hands as best you can to stack the elbows one over the other. We're trying to be here at shoulder height. We're turning away from which is the top arm side. My left arm is on top, so I'm turning to the right. If your right arm is on top, turn to the left, and then drop down, round in the upper back. Exhale strongly, contract the belly, and then make your way back to center. It's a rounding position, and as you come upright, you're going to stack the spine. So this is wonderfully strengthening for the upper rib cage and for the shoulders, and it gives us a deep stretch. Excellent. From here, bring your hands again to your knees. We're going to do this sitting, then we're going to do this standing later. So I want my feet to be nice and wide, and I want to do something simple. I just want to turn one shoulder forward, the other one back. When we stand, and if you're standing, the idea is to come into a fold and do this. And to not lean, but to say my head and my spine are stacked, and I'm turning my entire upper body to one side, and then I'm turning the entire upper body to the other side. And it'll feel a little different when you're standing compared to when you are sitting because of how you have to be responsible in staying still in the pelvis. Come back to center. Keep one knee bent and pretty much out to the side, and take the other leg long and out to the side. Great. And while you're here, we're going to make it a point to turn toward the bent knee. So I want to turn toward the bent knee. I want to let my front hand, if possible, turn away, press into that outer knee, and if possible, take the back arm and hook the chair. So I know that's not for everybody. If what you prefer to do is put your back hand in the chair and push down, or to hold the bottom edge of the chair and pull up, they all give you something different as far as an advantage, a leverage, a lengthening and a strengthening. Inhale, look over the shoulder and behind. Keep the toes drawn back towards you and that long leg. Reach into the heel. It's a great opening. And then, if you will, come on back and find that we can take the arms up and lean toward the long leg. So I want to lean toward the long leg, and I want the bottom hand to catch the top arm. I want to come and expand the side of the rib cage. This is part of a pose called gate. So we're going to follow this side lean with a little bit more strengthening, calling on this side of the rib cage. And I want to take the top arm and reach it straight up if possible. I want to take the side arm and reach it out to the side. My head is between this 90-degree angle, and the idea is to really reach in that direction. So we have one more place to go with this, and it is somewhat intuitive. We can tell that we could stand to have a twist. So if you'll bring the top arm forward and across, then it can catch anywhere. And the idea is to keep reaching in that direction. If you want to fly your arms over to the side, please do that. But all of a sudden, what you have is a rotation of your rib cage looking down. In the future, we'll add some strap work to this, but for now, we're going to come back to center, and we're going to do all of that on the other side. This is great rib cage strengthening. I want to take the other leg wide to the side. We are working here from this nice long, wide position. And at first, we're turning toward the bent knee in this upright position. I can hold the knee, I can reach for the knee, or I can turn the palm away and hook the leg. So the back hand can catch the chair, I can push into the chair, any of that. It depends on the length of you relative to the size of your chair, how far back you're sitting. Beautiful. The legs are firm. The long leg has toes back towards you. And we are incorporating both upper and lower body strengthening. Nice. When you're ready for change, we're returning and taking the arms forward and then up. So this lift of the arms lifts the rib cage. The bottom hand catches the top hand as we lean. And the idea is a side bend. We want to stay here and breathe and just feel the expansion through that side of the rib cage. Nice. And then we're taking the top arm up and the bottom arm out, and we're reaching away. Nice. We're reaching in the direction of that long leg. Exactly. And just notice, is one side of your rib cage stronger than the other? As you exhale, we are rotating and we can reach to fly sideways. We can look down and aim for that incredible stretch through the back of the shoulder. If you feel more comfortable lowering the arm, please do. But before we give this away, just breathe. And as you inhale, come back to center. That was a lot. All right, lastly, as you bring your knees wide, feet wide away, as you come and fold, park your elbows inside your knees if that is possible. Resist the legs to the elbows. Keep looking ahead. And today I'm asking us to lift the toes, spread them wide, lift the front of the feet and feel how the work settles deep into the hips. And we're going to stay here for just a breath or two, and then we're going to work to oppose this contraction of the front body. We're going to open up. All right. As you rest your feet, as you rest your toes, inhale and come on up, and make it so that you place your hands in the seat of the chair behind you, walk your feet to the center, hip width, and we're going to take one leg long, and notice if what we can do is really bring the sole of the foot to the floor, and that's a little bit of a stretch for the top of the foot. So this part is unique to each person. I want to push down and think that I want to open up the hips. So if you find that you can lift the pelvis off the chair a little bit, let your head follow your spine, and then slowly set yourself back down. All right. And again, everybody gets to their own place. If you feel like that was too much, let's try this all together before we switch sides. Try placing your feet evenly, push into your hands, and open the front body. If you did nothing more, this is a great starting place to then any amount of lift, trying not to turn out through the ankles or through the knees, and then settle back down. So now that we're ready to do the other side, extending the other leg, all of a sudden you can't put as much weight into it. That means this leg and your arms have a little bit more load, and this is good. It is a progression. So here we go. Any amount, even if it's just a little bit, find what you can do. Use slow, steady breathing, broaden across the collarbones, and then very slowly come on down. Excellent. We're going to work our way to standing. We're going to charge the legs well now through the backside. And I want you to come in hip hinge. Come all the way up, slow and controlled. Very nice. And continuing to open the front body, take the arms behind you. Clasp them together if you can. Lift your gaze. And release. Very nice. We are going to stand behind the chair now, and we're going to get our block. So as you stand behind the chair, I'll stand with mine this way. Okay. And then one block. So as I have my block, I want to hold on to it narrow. And as we hold this narrow block, we'll give some attention to the feet. I want to pick the inner edges of the feet up, catch hold of the block, roll the soles of the feet to the floor, and recognize that the chair is here. as a safety net, but we want to use it specifically. So at first, we're gonna lift the heels and bring the block with us. And the specific way to use the chair is to notice, do I really need it? Can I just let my hands rest on top? Am I ready to let my hands hover? What is that like? And then come down slowly. So notice what I didn't say. I didn't say anything about coming up as high as you can. That's not the point, okay? Rest your hands. Make sure your block is with you. Lift the toes and spread them wide, and you can stay just with this. This is fantastic all by itself. You can lift the front of the feet, and the idea is to bring the block with you. So there's a little bit more load for the top of the ankles, top of the feet. And this time we want to specifically push down. So the more I push down, the more there's this lift to the pelvic floor, to the lower abdominals, to this broadening effect. And we can do this in a more fluid way, meaning we can have repetition, come and go with the breath. And there's an advantage to just staying and noticing what really turns on a little bit more, what comes into play. Kneecaps are lifting, yeah? And then rest. So now we want to change this. We want to turn the block to its medium width. And this just begins to change a few of the relationships, the angles that the adductors are doing. I want to hold on to the block. We're going to do the same thing. Think about your proximity to the chair so it's really there for you. And very slowly come to lifting the heels, bringing the block with you. You might feel that you are more comfortable here. Your feet are a little bit wider. You might feel that you can go a little bit higher. This is your chance to experiment because we're not being fluid up and down and up and down. We're just holding it. So again, do you feel that you really need to hold the chair? Can you let your fingers just rest? Do you have the opportunity, does your body give you the permission to let go? And then notice what happens, right? There's this using your toes as a kickstand. Very slowly come on down, right? So there's not a wrong, you need to make it right for you. Similarly, we're gonna lift the toes and spread them wide. Notice how you lift the arches of the feet automatically. And then bring the block with you if you're lifting the front of the feet, the heels stay. And here we really want to push down and into the chair. If you find that you're leaning a little bit back, that is great. You're compensating for the fact that there's lift in the front body. Lift your gaze. The hands press down, they're not just resting. The kneecaps lift. And when you lift your gaze, draw your chin up and in, lengthen the back of your neck, let that benefit how the back of the shoulders are strong. And then slowly give it a rest. So I think everybody knows what's coming. Variety is good. Third repetition. Block is wide. And you might have to shift how you're really holding it to be able to bring it with you. Hold it between your heels and then come on, lifting any amount, and your feet are wider. You might feel more stable. Works that way. And do you need to push into the chair or hold it? Can you let your hands just rest? The block keeps you from turning out in your ankles. Can your fingers just float over the chair? Sometimes that's possible. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes maybe one hand can do it. Lots of ways to improvise. And then very slowly come on down. And how about that? We are giving a lot of strengthening to the feet, and we should. All right, so here we go. Lifting the toes, stretching them wide. Yep, lifting the front of the feet, bringing the block with. Finding the rest of the lift that comes into play, appreciating your design, lengthening the sides of the neck, drawing the chin in, and this reaching out through the crown of the head. It should feel really good for the back of the neck, creating space that way. Very nice. And give it a rest. Excellent. We're gonna move on up and really work the hips. And I'm gonna have us do it this way. All you have to do is simply turn to the side and step up on your block. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm gonna ask us today to not look down, to look ahead, so that if the outside leg can be toes with the floor, what's happening, in fact, is that you're telling your brain, this is how far I am from the floor, and it's good for proprioception. So now the outside leg is going to swing forward, and I want to turn it out. I want to have this external rotation, and then I'm going to bring the heel against the block and press back. And so the leg is in front of me. It's with the heel pressing back into the block. The sole of the foot is floating off the floor, parallel to the floor. And all of a sudden there's some gluteal engagement, and we are really tricking the standing leg into really firming to doing its job. Take that leg out to the side, swing it behind you, turn it in internal rotation, and let the top of the toes press forward into the block. So the entire leg moved as a unit. It turned internally. Here, we get some strengthening for the standing leg. Excellent. Let's step down and switch. I was trying to do that on purpose to keep us there for a while. So here we go. All you have to do is turn around to the other side. That's all you need to do. Step up onto your block. Let your toes, outside leg, tap the floor. Try to look ahead so that you build these balancing skills. Swing the leg forward, turn out, external rotation, and then bring it to rest against the block at the front. Outer heel presses back. So you should find how the standing leg reacts to all of that. It's wonderful. Core muscles are on. Your standing leg that's working is helping your spine to extend. Lots of good things. Take the leg behind you, internal rotation. Let the top of the toes, the top of the foot press forward. And just feel the response of that standing leg. So every time you take a step, the leg that's bearing most of your weight, it's responding to where the other leg is, to where your arms are. It begins to shift the weight pattern to accommodate you. And we want to do these strengthening things. Excellent. Take the time and step down. Nice. So we'll move the block out of the way. I'm going to put mine in my chair just to have it from being underfoot. And we're going to switch out and use the ball. So I have this ball, and this ball is going to, while I'm standing with the chair beside me. So if you want it to move your chair, so it's halfway down your mat, it's turned away from you. There's space in front and beside you, and two legs of the chair are on your mat. I have a ball, and the ball is going back behind. And I want to place it so that the inside leg is heel on the ball. The outside leg comes forward. Okay. So we have this warrior one set up. We are not walking the tightrope. We're bearing into the back leg. And as soon as we do that, we can tell that what takes up the effect of that bearing down is the deep hip flexors. And this is good. It means that they're being asked to engage. They're being strong while their muscle fibers are elongated. And this benefits the lower back more than we think. So today we're going to do a few familiar things, but we're going to do something that's new with this. While the back heel is anchored, while both legs are firm, I want you to lift your arms just knowing that the chair is there. And if you were taking this big giant step, the stride forward, how would you be using your arms? Which arm would be forward? Let your body react. Which arm would be forward? Think about it. I want to walk, but when I put that leg forward, what feels normal? And just hold it there. So again, when you're moving, your legs are reacting to what your upper body is doing. And if you're not swinging your arms, you're not helping your hips. So we want to use our arms when we walk, and it's not just to lift our heart rate, though that does happen. Okay, wonderful. Take the arms wide. Everybody knows chair is right there. If you need to hold it, please do. And then turn the palms up and drop the elbows. Let the upper body really open, right? And then, if you will, take the arms high. Yes. While you're here, scissor your arms. Keep bearing into the back leg. Notice how the more you move your arms, the more that deep area in your hip is responding because the leg is responding. Take the arms back wide. Turn the palms down. Fold halfway. Excellent. Take the arms ahead. Keep the arms in front of you, come upright, shoulder retraction. Excellent. We have one more thing to try. I want us to hold on to the chair, bear down, and then come and fold. Yes. And then unfold. We're going to repeat that in just a little bit as we add a twist. So now step down and ignore the ball. We're going to get back to it. Where we're going next is to take the inside leg and make it the front leg. And I want you to come forward so that you have to reach back for the top of the chair. And as soon as you're there, the chair is slightly behind you, then the outside leg is going to go back. Keep adjusting, keep sliding. I want the hand at the chair to be back. So I have to keep coming forward to make sure that it's behind me holding the chair. Yep. All right. So here we go. We're going to take that outside arm forward and we're going to fold. The hand at the chair gets to just slide along the way and then unfold. And what's really nice about that is that we know where the chair is. We don't have to look back for it. Our hand gets to slide along the surface. If we need to catch the chair, we sure can. As we go again, the folding and unfolding strengthens the back of the body. As we get there this time, if you will, keep the front arm reaching and simply turn your head and look down and back. And then turn your rib cage any amount more. Keep reaching forward, keep turning in your spine, keep looking down and back. Very nice. And then inhale and come on up. We're going to do it one more time with one more change. Straighten the front leg. Come and fold. Turn your head, look down and back, keep turning, let everything that can go along for this twist go along. I'm turning my head to look back to the chair, my rib cage is turning more, my hips are turning more, my legs are strong. And then slowly inhale and come upright and step the feet together. You are welcome to turn around or to move your chair to the other side. So I'm moving my chair. And the ball is aiming to the inside leg, is set so that the inside leg is heel on the ball and the outside leg steps forward into this warrior one setup. Exactly. The more that I press down, the more I bear down into the heel onto this ball, the more that there's a isometric strengthening for these deep hip flexors. So if you will, take the arms wide. Just check out and notice. If you feel uncomfortable in any way, please hold on to the chair, all right? Turn the palms up. Exactly. Take the arms high. So we're elongating those hip flexor muscles by lifting the ribs away. Take the arms wide. Turn the palms down. The chair is right there as you need it. Exhale and fold. And inhale and unfold. Nice. Let's do that again. Exhale and fold. Inhale and unfold. This time, if you will, put your hand at the chair. Take the other arm ahead. Exhale and fold. We want to try a great variety of things while we're over here. And simply turn your head and look back into the chair as we repeat this without the ball, with the other leg forward. We're going to have a deep twist. Inhale, come upright. Shoulder retraction, step forward and step down. And simply switch. We can ignore the ball. I'm going to take the other leg in front, but I want to be reaching back for the chair. I want it to be behind me, okay? The other leg travels back. The inside leg is the front leg. And if all of a sudden that chair is not far enough behind you, come forward and allow that to be. Okay. So we'll take the arm ahead and we'll come and fold. And as you do, turn your head and look back. We're getting this great deep stretch for the calf of the back leg. We're turning on the axis of the spine. Inhale, come unfolding. Whether or not you twist, just try folding. Just try sliding forward, similar to what we did on the other side, and coming upright, sliding back. Let's try that again. So the hand at the back of the chair gets to slide. We are not gripping the chair. We're giving our body the chance to hold us, to do its thing. But while you're here, turn your head and look. Keep lengthening the sides of the rib cage. Inhale, come upright, and we'll reserve the energy to try that one more time. We're going to straighten the front leg. This is a hip hinge. The back of the legs tell you, oh, we're stretching. Take the arm ahead. And as you turn your head to look down and back, allow everything and anything that can to participate in this rotation. The legs are on. As you inhale, come upright. Very nice, everyone. Step forward, step back. Excellent. Everybody has long legs now. We're going to keep the chair beside us, and I'm going to move the ball out of the way. So we're going to keep the chair beside us and step somewhat away. And where I'd like to go is to take the outside leg and bring it across. Okay. And this time I want to use my hand at the chair to kind of guide that. I want to press away. I want to have this side bend. Wow. And we could stay here. We could stay here. It's not about dropping the head. The head just kind of follows the spine. But I want to add a rotation to this side bend. And so where I'd like for us to be careful is to understand that we're not turning in our knees. That just doesn't even feel like it should be part of the equation. We're turning the upper body. So use your hand at the chair to push into the chair and kind of guide a little bit of rotation. Don't go far. As you turn the upper body just a little bit in this side bend and a twist, I want you to notice that you didn't take the pelvis with you, that your hip point stayed pointing in the direction of your mat, and that you are able to turn a little bit. So let your hand push down and ask for a little bit more. Turn a little bit more. That shoulder comes around. We're not going to add a lot of arm work to it. We're just going to notice that this is a rib cage strengthening exercise. For some folks, it really opens up space that they need. For all of us, it is useful. Take a slow, deep breath. Expand the back of your rib cage. If we use our breathing awareness to really stretch the rib cage deeply in a lot of our poses, we are affecting the mobility of the spine, not just the rib cage, not just increasing lung capacity. I hope that makes sense. It makes a lot of our movement through our day more accessible. Come back to center. Nice. We're going to stay here and take the leg behind us to cross over. And this time we want to take the arm either across or overhead. So I'm going to show it to you this way. And I want you just to come and stretch. Exactly. And do the same thing. Hip points are not turning. It would be easy to do that now. I want to turn the rib cage, turn the rib cage, turn the rib cage, look down. Keep reaching up, keep looking down, keep pushing down. And take a breath. We want this to always feel spacious. And then come on back. So now we feel a little lopsided and we need to do the other side. You can simply turn around. You're welcome to move your chair. And we have to be careful, not in a hurry. So what we're doing first is to step away from the chair and then to take the outside leg and bring it in front and to push into the chair and come into this side bend. So right away, because the leg is in front, it contributes to the stretch of the side. I'm all on one plane. I'm thinking that I'm all on one plane. I'm aiming to be all on one plane. And then not. Then my lower body is going to stay, and I'm going to turn the upper body, and a little bit feels like a lot. Think about where the weight is in your feet. Make sure that it's not all in that leg you started with. The one that comes across gets to push the floor as well. Turn any amount more. Let your fingertips at your hip point help you with feedback to know, oh, but I didn't turn. I stayed right here. The shoulder will come along. The rib cage is turning. We're looking down and we're pushing down. And just breathe. The breath is the icing on the cake. It helps with articulation in the long run. With the next inhalation, come on back and take the leg behind you. Interesting that something like this, using our poses this way, is so beneficial. It's sneaky. So I want to push away. I want to have this hip that juts out to the side. And this time we can take the arm up and add to the value of the side stretch for the rib cage. I want to turn and look down. Turn the upper body, look down. Keep reaching up to look down. Keep the pelvis still. Upper body adjusting. Just breathe. It's a surprise. A lot of work goes on here. And then slowly return. Isn't that interesting? Using all of those lines of energy. Next. Doesn't matter where your chair is. I want you to turn and face the chair. And as you do, we're going to put hands palms away at the back of the chair. So I can step slightly back. I want to make sure that 2 legs of the chair are on the mat. And I want to bend in the elbows and come in and then press away. Let's keep doing that. I want to bend in the elbows, broaden across the collarbones, come in and press away. And it's not important if you don't go far. So as you come and go, we, for the most part, start out in this straight line, this plank position. The entire body moves as a unit. But let's back off and let's do more. Let's back off by putting 1 foot forward. So all of a sudden there's a wider base. And then let's take the other leg back. And if you come up off your mat, it's okay. And if what you can do instead this time is to turn your palms so they're down, you don't have to grip the chair unless you want to. You can let your hands rest on top. If that's not nice for your wrist, you can hold the sides of the chair. It would all work. But the idea is that you're going to keep the elbows close to you and then bend forward. Because your legs can take on more weight, you get to be in charge of, but do I want to push more into my hands? Do I want to make it more of an upper body strengthening and then push away? Right, let's do that again. So it becomes a really interesting push-up. It's very similar to a lunge that we take. If we were lower in our pose, we can take the front knee a little further and bend it even. But here's where I would like us to go. I want us to get to any amount of this shape of the push-up, no matter how much work you have in your arms bearing weight, and then broaden the collarbones and look ahead. Let the back bend be in the upper rib cage and push into the back leg. Okay, so that's a little bit of a different take on it. And then press away. Nice. Take the time and switch. Here comes the other leg. Decide how wide you're going to be in your feet. The wider you are, the more your legs will be a stable base. And keep it small at first. I want to come and go. And I'm trying to maximize how much I can tolerate with this being an upper body strengthening exercise. And then I'm going to come and fold and hold this position and keep the push, but I'm going to stay really wide across the collarbones, long through the neck, strong through the back leg. And then inhale and come on up. Very nice. And release, turn around so that the chair is behind you. And we want this to be a recovery. So I'm going to ask us to step slightly forward, and the arms have to go further back. But then we're going to help ourselves. And I honestly, like, it's not just using that term, we're going to back off to do more. It is truly living up to that statement. So I want to slide one leg back. Okay. And if I look down, my knees are even. I want my hands, bless you, I want my hands to use the chair in two different ways. Number one, we're going to stay for a breath or two and we're going to pull forward. And I could tip the chair easily, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull with just enough effort to lift the collarbones and spread them wide. I'm using this to get traction for the arms. I want to make sure the propped up foot presses back, that we engage the gluteal muscles, right? And then I want to switch and I want to push instead. Can I spend some time pushing back? That changes where the work is through the core, how the shoulders are taking up the strength work. We don't have to grip. We can just simply press down and back, and it doesn't have to be huge to be effective. All right, relax, step closer to the chair, right up against it, slide your hands down, and let your hands press forward so that they bring the chair pressing into your body. And that is a smaller back bend through the upper rib cage. It should be a welcomed action for your shoulders. And then we'll do the other side. So quickly, your shoulders get tired here because we spend all of our day right up here in front with our arms. So we need this balance. We need it. Here we go. We're stepping away from the chair. And the other leg will slide back. The knees are flush. And I want to pull forward without tipping the chair. This is a small action. It turns the foot on, the one that's pressed back. I'm reminded to engage the gluteal muscles, to appreciate how the entire front body is opening, to let the head follow. While you're here and you don't lose any of that, change what your hands are doing and press back instead. Find some aspect of the chair, and it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to grip it. You can just rest your hands and press back. So now we have lower abdominal muscles coming more into play. Stay yet another breath. And release. Very nice. Step around and pause and notice. You should feel that we woke up the back body for sure. We opened the front body for sure. All right, we are turning the chair now. We're turning the chair so that it is facing forward and it's still beside us. And we're going to get our strap. Okay. So I want to take the strap and step onto it. And while I've stepped onto the strap, I'm going to hold it with the hand that is opposite. But I want us to get a good start. All right. So it would be easier from here to take the strap behind us and hold it with the opposite hand behind. I'm going to give time for everybody to do that. Exactly. And you'll decide where you want to be in this chair. And I want to give an option just to make sure not everyone is going to put their foot in the chair. Some of you may know yourselves that, I'm not going to go that high. And it's better for me if I put my foot on the block. That's what I need. And I can still hold on to the chair. And some of you know that what you can do is not just step onto the chair, but that you know yourself that you want to step onto the block, onto the chair. So we don't have to have the strap for this. The strap is optional. Please know this, right? So I am with my leg held, and I'm going to slide my hand back as far as I can. And then there is this tugging relationship. Okay? So the arm that's holding the strap as far back across as I can, it's having a stretch across the front of the shoulder. And the feet are going to push. My foot Bent knee foot is bearing down. If you can add pulling the legs toward each other, then there's going to be more stability. This is the foundation of tree pose. We might feel that we have such stability that we don't need to hold the chair and we can take the arm up and it can become like tree pose, this reaching up. And yes, we are very much asymmetrical in this variation, but each limb has its job and each limb has its advantage. Take the arm out to the side. Exactly. Bring the hand to just hover from the chair. Look ahead, don't look down. Let all of these movements tell your brain where you are in your space, and that's important. And then relax and step down. Excellent. To do all of that on the other side, we're going to need to move the chair. I want to step into the strap with the inside leg. The strap is optional. You don't have to have it. I want to take the strap behind me and hold it as far across as I can with that opposite hand. Hold on to the chair. Think about what you did on the first side. Where did the leg go? Did you step onto the block? Did you step into the chair? Keep walking the hand across until you can't go any further. So you're giving yourself the option of this traction. Notice how your arm is reacting to the strap, how the leg is firming to push down, and add more. Add pulling your legs together. Notice if you can release the arm from the chair. If you feel confident to reach it up. The reach of the arm up in tree pose typically is to help us lift the ribs. And so we can be conscious of that. We can add a little bit more energy to it, lift our gaze, keep the legs pulling toward each other, and just breathe. Very nice. At your ease, slowly lower, and at your ease, step down. Excellent. So now, we're going to put the strap aside. I'm just going to move it out of the way. And I'm going to move the block out of the way as well. We're going to almost return to sitting, but we're going to try that wide twist with the chair behind us, just in case anybody would like to sit. So I'm going to stand in front of the chair. The chair came back to the center of the mat. And while the feet are wide, we're going to turn the feet out. So turning out. And as we bend in the knees, we're going to take the elbows to this goddess pose position. And it's a nice challenge for the legs. How about that? Press back. Let's stay 2 more breaths, lifting the toes, spreading them wide. If this becomes too much, you can sit in the chair and do all of this. All right, relax, straighten your legs. This time, I want you to make your feet a little bit more parallel to each other, just a little bit. And so, yes, they are still turned out. And as you bend in your knees, put your hands at knees bent. And again, you could sit to do this. So I don't want to lean in any way. I want to stay centered, but I want to turn the upper body. One shoulder comes forward, the other comes back. And what I want you to notice in this is not just that I'm tricking you into staying a little longer in the squat, but this is all about staying long through the sides of the rib cage. So don't sink there. Come back to center, stay aware. And one shoulder comes forward and the other comes back. Your arms help you along here. And it's all about that lower side of the rib cage, keeping it long. Nice. Come back to center. We'll do one more thing. We're going to get to the chair now. If you'll take the arms forward, forward and up, and keep sitting back. Excellent. And then slide forward. Slide forward and walk your feet in and try to stay really long through the sides of the rib cage. Bring your hands together and rotate inward. Rotate forward. So today's class happens to be on President's Day. And we can reflect on the rich history of this country and think about the presidents and the strengths that they brought, each of them unique. We might not have always agreed with certain platforms that they stood for or that they shared. But what we must appreciate is that it takes a lot of courage to lead. And it takes a lot of courage when we make decisions for ourselves and for those to whom we are responsible. The key to do that is to be acting with integrity. Rotate the fingertips inward. So this beautiful mudra that reminds us that we start deep in ourself and we take care of ourselves, and that really we spend time pointing the fingertips forward, working in community. That's what we do all of our life.